Okay, time to unpack this. Today on Smarter Business with AI, we're going to new heights. Literally. We're diving deep into AI in the aerospace and defense industry. And let me tell you, based on these articles, it looks like we're talking about a full-blown revolution, not just some minor tweaks here and there.
Yeah, it really is incredible how AI is becoming so fundamental to the industry.
It is,
You usually think of aerospace and defense as being pretty cautious about adopting new tech, right? But here they are at the forefront of AI adoption. It's everywhere: design, manufacturing, operations, even cybersecurity.
you're absolutely right. And one of the articles talks about how Boeing used this AI-powered logistics platform to deal with all those supply chain disruptions back in 24. Not only did it save them a ton of time and money, but it also shows how AI can make businesses way more resilient, and not just in aerospace.
Any industry with complex global supply chains can learn from this. It's a prime example of how AI can make sense of huge amounts of data in real time to give us insights that we humans could never get on our own. Just think about it. That platform was probably looking at shipping routes, supplier data, political stuff, even the weather, all at the same time to find the most efficient and reliable way to get parts where they needed to be.
Yeah, that kind of real-time analysis is just mind-blowing. And speaking of predicting the future, another article mentioned how GE Aerospace is using digital twins to keep an eye on their jet engines. It's like having a virtual copy of an engine that can predict failures weeks in advance.
Yes,
It is amazing, isn't it?
basically, a digital twin is a virtual model of a real physical thing. In this case, it's a jet engine. They feed this digital twin with real-time data from sensors on the actual engine. Then, AI algorithms analyze the engine's performance, look for anything unusual, and predict potential problems long before a human engineer would ever notice them.
So it's all about proactive maintenance. Prevent costly downtime and make things safer.
Exactly.
It's a great example of how AI isn't just about automation. It's about making us humans better at what we do. It really makes you wonder if this kind of technology could be used to monitor other complicated systems, like maybe predicting when a bridge needs repairs. The possibilities seem endless. But let's get back to aerospace for a second. I was reading about how Airbus is using AI for quality control, specifically for inspecting airplane wings. Apparently, they have a system that uses cameras and algorithms to find these tiny defects that a human inspector might miss.
Right? They're basically using computer vision and machine learning to look at images and find those little things that could be a sign of a problem. These algorithms, they're trained on huge data sets of images and learn to tell the difference between normal variations and potential defects. So they're basically becoming experts of spotting problems.
Exactly, wow. It allows for a level of accuracy and efficiency that's just not possible with humans, which is obviously critical in the aerospace industry. And it's not just planes, right? Satellites are getting a serious AI upgrade too. There was an article about a satellite that uses AI to go through all the data it collects and only sends back the most important stuff to Earth.
Yes, so it's like having a super smart filter up in space. It's a brilliant way to deal with the massive amount of data we're collecting these days. This satellite has machine learning algorithms that can identify patterns and anomalies in the data, filter out all the noise, and basically highlight what's really important. Not only does this save bandwidth and cut transmission costs, but it also ensures that researchers on the ground are getting the data they need exactly when they need it. It's like having a mini mission control right there on board, making decisions in real time.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? I mean, these satellites can even adjust their orbits and dodge space debris now, all thanks to AI.
Absolutely. It's a massive leap forward by adding AI. We're moving towards a future where satellites can operate much more independently. They can adapt to changing conditions and even make their own decisions. This opens up so many possibilities from space exploration and scientific research to even commercial applications.
It's really incredible to think about how much AI is changing how things work, both in the air and in space.
And it's not just about civilian applications, it's also playing a significant role on the defense side of things.
I'm glad you mentioned it, but before we get into that, we should probably acknowledge that all this reliance on AI is raising some important questions, especially when it comes to the workforce.
You're right.
One of the articles I read projected a shortage of over 200,000 AI literate technicians in the aerospace and defense industry by 2027.
Sure. So, this skills gap is a real concern and shows how urgently we need education and training programs to help workers get the skills they need to thrive in this new AI powered world.
It's a big challenge for sure, but it also presents a massive opportunity for those who are interested in a career in this field. We're talking about designing, building, and maintaining incredibly complex AI systems. These are the jobs of the future.
Absolutely, and it goes beyond technical roles too. AI is going to impact management, policy, and even the legal side of things. It's really important for companies and governments to get ahead of these changes, invest in retraining programs, and encourage people to keep learning throughout their careers. It's a good reminder that AI isn't just about technology, it's about people and how we adapt to these rapid changes. Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about how AI is changing the game in defense.
One of the articles mentioned Project Maven, a US Department of Defense initiative that uses AI to analyze drone footage.
Project Maven is a great example of how AI is being used to enhance situational awareness and improve decision making in military operations. By looking at huge amounts of drone footage, AI algorithms can identify patterns, track objects, and even predict potential threats, giving military personnel valuable insights. So it's like having an AI analyst that never gets tired working around the clock to find the important stuff.
Exactly.
But it also raises some questions about the role of human judgment and the potential for bias in these AI systems. You bring up some very important points. We have to remember that AI is a tool.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. We need to develop these systems with transparency and accountability, and make sure there is always human oversight to ensure that AI is being used responsibly and ethically, especially in defense applications.
Couldn't agree more. The potential benefits of AI in defense are huge, but we have to proceed with caution and keep human judgment front and center.
Now, before we dive deeper into specific applications, let's take a moment to talk about the economic side of things. We've seen how AI can save money and boost efficiency, but how is it affecting the industry as a whole? Well, it's really interesting. One source predicted that the global market for AI and defense would hit a whopping 65 billion by 2034.
This isn't just a small change, it's a fundamental shift in the competitive landscape. Companies that can figure out how to integrate AI into their operations effectively will have a huge advantage. They'll attract investments and drive innovation. So it's not just about using AI, it's about mastering it. And that ties right back into those workforce challenges we were talking about earlier. Companies are going to be fighting tooth and nail to attract the best AI talent out there, which could shake up the industry's pecking order in a big way.
Okay,
We're already seeing this happen with companies like Palantir Technologies. They specialize in big data analytics and AI, and are quickly becoming major players in the defense sector. Now, traditional defense giants have to compete with these agile, tech-savvy newcomers, which is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It sounds like we're on the verge of a major transformation in the aerospace and defense industry, all driven by AI. We've seen how AI is changing everything from logistics and maintenance to design and even the future of space exploration.
but as we continue this deep dive, I think it's crucial to keep in mind that technology is only part of the equation. We need to think about the ethical considerations, invest in training the workforce, and create a culture of collaboration to make sure AI is used responsibly and effectively in this critical industry.
I completely agree. This is a complex and constantly changing landscape, so staying informed and engaged is more important now than ever. Now, Let's dig a little deeper into some of the specific applications and challenges of AI in aerospace and defense. So, before the break, we were talking about those big economic changes happening in aerospace and defense.
Yeah, and one thing I was reading about was how those more traditional companies like Boeing are actually teaming up with AI startups to create some really cutting edge technologies.
It's a really smart strategy for both, actually. Well, the big defense contractors, they bring a lot to the table: industry know how, infrastructure, and of course, funding. And the AI startups, well, they're bringing fresh ideas. They're agile, and they have specialized expertise in things like machine learning and data analytics. So it's a win win, really. It speeds up innovation.
Yeah, it's like a perfect match. One article actually talked about a collaboration between Anduril Industries, an AI defense startup, and OpenAI, the people behind ChatGPT.
And they're working on counter uncrewed aircraft systems. Basically, it's AI powered defense against drones. It's a great example of how these kinds of partnerships are really blurring the lines between the traditional defense world and the tech world. And that's creating a whole new ecosystem of innovation. We're seeing advancements that neither side could achieve on their own. And it's not just about making new weapon systems either. AI is also being used to make existing military operations more efficient, especially when it comes to logistics.
You're right. One of the things I was reading about was how the US military is using these AI powered logistics platforms to streamline their supply chains, manage inventory, and even predict when equipment needs maintenance.
Yes, these systems are amazing. They can analyze mountains of data, spot patterns, and make recommendations that make everything more efficient. It cuts costs and really improves military readiness. It's like having this super efficient logistics manager that never sleeps and is always working to optimize things.
Exactly.
And in a field where time is critical and resources are often limited, that kind of efficiency is absolutely crucial.
Absolutely.
And the applications of AI in defense, they go way beyond just logistics.
We're seeing it used for gathering intelligence, analyzing threats, and even in cybersecurity.
Yeah, cybersecurity is a great point. I was reading about how AI is now being used to spot and respond to cyber attacks in real time, which is getting more and more important as cyber threats become more sophisticated and more frequent. Right. AI powered cybersecurity systems can monitor network traffic 24/7. They can identify any suspicious activity and even take steps to neutralize threats automatically, all without any human intervention. So that means faster response times and much more effective defense against those attacks. It's like having an AI guardian watching over your digital borders, always ready to fight off intruders.
I like that analogy. But with AI playing such a big role in defense, it does make you wonder about the potential vulnerabilities of these systems themselves. I mean, could they be hacked or manipulated?
That's a really good point, and it's a valid concern. As we become more reliant on AI for these critical defense functions, we absolutely have to ensure that those systems are secure and resilient. That means developing strong safeguards against hacking, data breaches, and any kind of manipulation. And we need to make sure those AI systems are being developed with ethical considerations in mind from the very beginning. It's a tricky balance, but super important. We need to harness the power of AI, but at the same time, manage those risks. And speaking of risks, one of the most controversial topics when it comes to AI and defense is the development of autonomous weapon systems.
That's right.
It's a really complicated issue. There are no easy answers. On the one hand, people who support autonomous weapons say they could actually reduce civilian casualties because they're more precise and eliminate human error. But then there are those who are worried about unintended consequences, ethical dilemmas, and losing human control over those life or death decisions. It's a debate that's only going to intensify as AI technology keeps advancing. The most important thing is to have open and honest discussions involving experts from all sorts of fields, not just tech, to establish clear ethical guidelines and regulations for how these autonomous weapon systems are developed and used. It's about more than just technological progress. It's about making sure that we're using these technologies in a way that aligns with our values and that benefits humanity as a whole.
Okay. Well, let's shift gears for a minute and talk about how AI is affecting the actual design and manufacturing processes in the aerospace and defense industry.
Yeah, this is where AI is really pushing the boundaries. We're seeing it being used to optimize designs, make manufacturing smoother and more efficient, and even create completely new materials. One of the articles I came across talked about how BAE Systems is using AI to design a lighter and more durable tank chassis.
I'm curious, how does that even work?
It's called generative design. Basically, engineers give the AI system the design parameters, any constraints, and the performance goals they're trying to achieve. Then the AI algorithms explore literally thousands of different potential designs, testing them virtually and refining them until they land on the optimal solution. So it's like having an AI brainstorming partner that can come up with ideas that humans might never even think of. It's wild to think that an AI could design something as complex as a tank. It really shows how powerful AI can be when it comes to enhancing human creativity and problem solving. And this isn't just limited to design either.
AI is also making manufacturing more precise and efficient.
Absolutely.
I was reading about how Boeing is using robots powered by AI to do complicated tasks like welding and painting on their aircraft assembly lines. These robots are crazy precise and fast, even more than humans.
That means higher quality products and quicker production times. It's a perfect example of how AI is changing manufacturing across many industries, not just aerospace and defense. These AI powered robots can work tirelessly, non stop, and they can adapt to new tasks and environments really easily. So companies can increase production, cut costs, and make things safer for workers by automating those dangerous tasks.
It sounds like these robots are becoming true collaborators, working right alongside human workers to get the job done. It's a pretty fascinating evolution of the relationship between humans and machines.
I think so too. And as AI technology keeps getting better, we can expect to see even more innovative uses in design and manufacturing. This is going to lead to some incredible breakthroughs in materials science, engineering, and production efficiency. Ultimately, we're going to see even more advanced and sophisticated airspace and defense products as a result. It's definitely an exciting time to be following all this. AI is clearly reshaping the aerospace and defense industry in some pretty profound ways. It's affecting everything from the initial design and manufacturing stages all the way to operations, and even the future of warfare. But even as we embrace all these advancements, we can't lose sight of the fact that technology is only one piece of the puzzle. We have to think about the ethical implications. We have to invest in developing our workforce, and we need to foster a spirit of collaboration to make sure AI is being used responsibly and for the benefit of everyone.
You're absolutely right. The future of aerospace and defense is very closely tied to the future of AI. It's a powerful technology, no doubt, but it's up to us to steer its development in the right direction and make sure it's used ethically and sustainably.
Well said.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, there's one more fascinating area of AI in aerospace and defense that I think we need to touch on: the role of AI in space exploration. Now, this is where things get really futuristic, so we're back and ready to explore AI in space.
Yeah, when we talk about AI in aerospace and defense, space exploration is where things get truly exciting. It's like science fiction becoming reality.
Totally. AI is changing how we explore and understand space.
We've got autonomous spacecraft, AI powered rovers on other planets. It seems like there are no limits. Absolutely. And one of the most exciting things I read about was SpaceX, using AI to guide those robotic arms during the assembly of their Starlink satellites.
Right.
If AI can handle such complex tasks in the harsh environment of space, just imagine the possibilities for bigger missions, things like building a base on the moon or even sending humans to Mars. It's pretty mind-blowing. AI's ability to process tons of data, adapt to unexpected situations, and make split-second decisions makes it the perfect tool for space exploration. Imagine spacecraft that can navigate asteroid fields on their own, map unknown areas, even do scientific experiments without humans having to control everything.
Wow, that's incredible. And it's not all about deep space missions either. Right here, closer to home, AI is already helping us manage all the satellites and debris orbiting Earth. We talked about AI-powered collision avoidance systems earlier, but AI can do so much more.
Yeah, it can optimize satellite operations, improve data transmission, even help us build infrastructure in space.
One article mentioned Northrop Grumman's Mosaic platform. It uses AI to predict possible collisions and then automatically moves satellites out of the way.
So, as space gets more crowded and complex, AI is going to be essential for keeping everything running smoothly and preventing those really expensive and dangerous collisions. It's like having an AI traffic cop up there in orbit.
Exactly.
But as we rely more and more on AI, especially as we venture further into space, we have to think about the ethical side of things and the potential risks. That's a really important point. Any powerful technology comes with responsibility. We need to use AI responsibly and ethically in space. That means considering the impact on the space environment, setting clear rules for when AI can make decisions on its own, and making sure our space systems are protected from cyber attacks. You're right. We can't forget about those things. As we push the boundaries of space exploration with AI, we also need to prioritize safety, sustainability, and being responsible stewards of space.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what are some key things you want our listeners to take away from this conversation?
Well, first and foremost, the aerospace and defense industry is going through a massive transformation, and AI is at the heart of it. This technology is revolutionizing everything from the way things are designed and built to how they operate and even how we explore space. It's creating some incredible opportunities for innovation and progress.
Absolutely.
And the second thing to remember is that while the potential benefits of AI are huge, we have to be cautious and think about the ethical implications, the risks, and how AI will impact the workforce. It's a responsibility we all share to ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits humanity, keeps us safe, and helps create a sustainable future. And lastly, this convergence of AI with aerospace and defense is creating a really dynamic and rapidly evolving landscape, and it's full of opportunities and challenges. The key is to stay informed, be engaged, and be ready to adapt to all the changes that are coming.
Very well said.
Thanks. Well, it's been a pleasure discussing this fascinating topic with you.
Likewise. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of AI and aerospace and defense. We hope this deep dive has given you valuable insights. We're certainly inspired by the transformative power of this technology. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries. We can't wait to see what the future holds for AI. Thanks for tuning in to Smarter Business with AI. We will see you for the next go around as we check in on the impact of AI in a new industry.